Hello, this is your host again, Ricky Klein, the Cassette Master, and today we will be presenting to you another special device. This is a very interesting cassette tape recorder. This is a Dictaphone Dictet machine we're going to be presenting today, which comes from around the year 1957. You heard me, 1957. And then you hear cassette recorder, and those of you out there thinking, but the cassette was introduced in 1963. Well, this uses a tape cartridge. It looks similar to a cassette, but it's an entirely different format. I hope you enjoy the presentation on the Dictaphone Dictet cassette tape recorder. Okay. Here, presented for your viewing pleasure, is a Dictet recorder. Now, I acquired on eBay a couple years ago or so 2 Dictet machines. One of them was missing a cassette, and one of them had the cassette. Both of them had damage like this on the door, cosmetic damage, that is, to the paint from it reacting with rusting metal. And one of them is basically just, could be a parts machine, but it could also be used in a jury-rigged way if I might hook the amplifier or the head directly to a separate amplifier. But the thing is I acquired these while I was in Arkansas. So the other Dictet machine, the other microphone, and the other cover right here all reside in Arkansas. So my resources are very low right now, which sucks. But this is a very interesting recorder. It's meant to be a battery-operated cassette tape recorder. Let me get the other. So here's this case for the Dictet, and little pouch would open up here. The Dictet recorder would slide inside, and then there's this little metal piece here where the latch goes into place. On the other side of that metal piece, the metal inside here was rusting, and it was pressing against the machine here, and over time that rust has affected and messed up the paint job on the metal cover, which is unfortunate, but that's just a cosmetic issue. And then over here you have a little storage area to store the microphone and any other accessories. Now normally this machine would run on 2 proprietary batteries. A 6-volt battery, which was used to power the amplifier, and a 12-volt battery that would be used to power the motor. Now, on both the machines I acquired, it did not have the original battery cover. Instead, it had a special adapter which goes to a 4-pin connector, which was meant to go to an external power supply, so you didn't have to run it on batteries. I will show the pin out in the video, don't worry. So I have this hooked up to a dual power supply so I can power the amp and motor. But if you take this thing out, you'll see it has these 2 rods sticking up, and you'll see terminals on the top of the rods. That's meant to go in to where the batteries originally would connect. You'd have the 6-volt battery would have been about this size, and the 12-volt battery would go in here. And anyway, you can simply put that into the recorder. So normally you would just put the batteries inside here. You'd get a battery cover, which would have the appropriate connections, stick it on there, and you'd be good. Now, back in Arkansas, I have the other one of these, and I removed the cord and used it like a battery cover. And I had in the past made makeshift batteries by opening up 9-volt batteries, taking out the quadruple A sized cells, and then kind of hooking them together and wrapping them in electrical tape and making the proprietary battery to be able to run this machine. I had a 9-volt regular battery kind of shoved in there and a couple of quadruple A's attacked onto that to get the 12 volts. And then I had the other set of quadruple A cells out of the 9-volt battery to use as the 6-volt battery. But as I was using it, which was back in like 2015 or something like that, I found that suddenly it decided that the battery wanted to be quote-unquote dead, and it turned out that although I don't think it was actually dead, it had began to get a bad connection because the cells would corrode even though they were still had power. And I have another weird machine that I had to make a proprietary battery for, using those quadruple A cells out of a 9-volt battery, and they also had the same problem. They would start corroding. So I don't trust those little cells when taken out of a 9-volt battery. They corrode very easily, and it's incredibly annoying. So I'm not going to be able to show it with battery operation because the corroded cells. Not to mention that the cells, that stuff with those corroded batteries and the other piece here is all back in Arkansas. It was all done back in Arkansas. So let's show the front of the machine here, or the top of the machine. You can see the controls. So here we have on, off, which normally engages a pinch roller, allows the machine to function. So in this position here, it's playback. So when you go on, it will just turn it on. Then you got rewind, which is momentary, and then record. Gotta move the lever up over there. And then you've got a meter right here, which really suckily does not show record level. It only shows battery level. You have an A button and an M button, and the A is to show amplifier battery level. M is to show motor battery level. If they were to also use the meter as a recording level indicator, that would have been tremendous, because not only is it extremely easy to overdrive this machine when making recordings, but as you will soon be experiencing, the audio fidelity of this recorder is absolutely horrid, even though it is AC bias. It is a record level control, playback level control, and proprietary input/output jack for the mic. This is the original microphone. What sucks is I have two of these, and I was going to use one of them to take the cord away and make it into an adapter for hooking up direct connections and stuff. But guess what? The other one resides in Arkansas. Instead of snuggling the microphone along with this one into the case, I just left it in Arkansas like an absolute Class A idiot. So that's my little regret right there. This is an American-made machine, by the way, which is unusual. Now you might think to yourself, this is a motor start-stop switch. That is incorrect. It's worse than that. It's a microphone/speaker disconnect-connect switch. It doesn't do anything to start and stop the machine, which I think is dumb. There's no point to that. They should have made it start and stop the motor. I don't know why they made it start and stop the microphone, but that's how it's done, which is stupid. And then so if you haven't guessed yet already, of course, the microphone is used as a speaker. As a speaker, it doesn't sound very good, and it's not very loud. You have to put this thing up to your ear to hear it. Yet as a microphone, it can be incredibly sensitive. With the level set high on this machine, it will pick up sound. You can tell it will pick up sound really well because it will overdrive and saturate like absolute mad. And now to show the tape cartridge. So we're going to go ahead and take the cover off. Nice metal construction. Oh yeah. You can see the little Dictaphone Dictet recorder thing showing various different patents. Very nice. So now we can see the cassette well here, and there is a tape. So we'll remove the tape carefully out of the machine. See the area where it goes. So we'll turn on power. 6 volts and 12 volts. Confirmed. We're going to turn the machine on. You can see in playback position. Take up spindle turns. It has friction clutch. By the way, I didn't replace the belt. The original, I may have replaced it. I think the original belt that might still be in here. But I shoved some things to kind of move the motor a little bit to tighten the belt up a little bit so it would get more tension. I also replaced all the very, very leaky electrolytics. Because this is from the freaking 1950s, so don't expect the original electrolytics to be good at all. Rewind engages this. Motor does not operate too well on this machine. The speed is not the most consistent, although it is governor controlled. Oh, and by the way, when you go into record mode, it does throw a little permanent magnet erase head right there. Let's see if we can shed more light on the subject here. So you can see that a little bit better. So when you go into record mode, notice the permanent magnet erase head moves over. So it's AC bias and permanent magnet erase. Now, we'll compare the cartridges to a cassette. Okay, so here you can see the comparison of a Dictet to a cassette. First off, you'll notice the Dictet says made in USA, which again is very rare to come across portable tape recorders that are made in the US. Most of the machines most of the machines that were sold in the US were made in Japan. But this one, being from the 1950s, was made at a particular time period when a lot of electronics were still being made in the US. And then whenever you come to the 1960s, you really start having an influx of Japanese machines being sold in the US, and American-made portable tape recorders become a lot less commonplace. But anyway, it's a very interesting cartridge. It's completely metal construction, and inside you actually have 2 reels of tape. You could, in a way, say it's a reel-to-reel tape recorder. Compare it in size to the audio cassette tape. Quite the size difference there. Let's take another look inside. You can see on the inside of the Dictet cassette, it's actually got 2 physical tape reels of 1/4 inch tape, which is pretty interesting. The aux side faces outward, of course. It's very interesting. Here's the other side. You can see the tape is also tensioned by pressure pads. Oh wow. The tape is also tensioned by pressure pads, literally contacting the tape. It's time that we make some test recordings of this machine here. I have the record level set to 1. Not very much. Put it into record mode, and you can probably hear just how bad the motor speed stability is on this device. Anyway, this is a test recording January 13th, 2018 on the Dictet cassette tape recorder made by Dictaphone from 1957 or so. Let's see how this comes out. And then rewind.
Just how bad the motor speed stability is on this device. Anyway, this is a test recording January 13th. 13th, 2018 on the Dictet cassette tape recorder made by Dictaphone from 1957 or so. Let's see how this comes out.
Now I'll make a recording with a higher record level. You'll hear how much it overdrives. Recording level set to 5. Put it in record mode.
I'm not making a recording with a recording level set to 5. I'm speaking at arm's length distance. Microphone as I make this recording to see how it sounds. Now I am speaking right up to the microphone. Let's see how the sound quality is. Testing 1, 2, 3 on the Dictet machine. Testing 1, 2, 3 on this 1950s transistorized tape recorder.
Okay, so now we're going to open up the little microphone case and we're going to do some direct recordings. Here's a little microphone / speaker. And you can just see that little microphone element that's used. It's really not going to make a good speaker.
You can probably hear just how bad the motor speed stability is on this device. Anyway, this is a test recording January 13th, 2018 on the Dictet cassette tape recorder made by Dictaphone from 1957 or so. Let's see how this comes out. I'm not making a recording with a recording level set to 5. I'm speaking at arm's length distance. Microphone as I make this recording to see how it sounds. Now I am speaking right up to the microphone. Let's see how the sound quality is. Testing 1, 2, 3 on the Dictet machine. Testing 1, 2, 3 on this 1950s transistorized tape recorder. The level set all the way up as I make this recording. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Level set lower. Hello, this is a recording on the Dictaphone Dictet tape recorder. Testing 1, 2.
This is test 2 on this tape recorder. Let's see how this sounds this time. C-Grinder? Yes, sir, C-Grinder. Okay, well, I'm going to be going to bed soon on Tuesday night. I'm going to be going back on it? That was Anna Wallace. Right now, just get a microphone. Well, for this paper, I didn't do that. I just wrote, and then the stuff that I knew came from a different source, I just put a footnote where it was at, and then after I wrote it, I went back, found the material, and then added the footnote stuff inside of it. So, yeah, that was the only paper. That was one of my paper that I wrote like that. It was only for my job, because my job that I do right now, I have to do all the work, like, the few days leading up to it, because the way that, like, the system works, I can't work on it over a long period of time. So, I have to, like, release it on days. So, yeah, I got used to working under, like Search, 1 West Town, Queenstown Road, River, and Upcall. And that was the last recording I made before the batteries had corroded. Now it is running off two power supplies on November 21st, 2015. Now the unit is running with the level set all the way up. It's probably picking up sound like crazy. Okay, so let us see here. It is 9:14 a.m. November 21st, 2000. November 21st, 1959. Not in a hurry. Oops, dart in your neck. Ride the stimmy tax.
My ears hurt. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of the Dictet machine. Easily overdriven machine. Oh my goodness. What? I said what? This is what? I missed Anarchy. Blumenik. What can I say? Well, I'll put the thing back on here. Yeah. Presentation's kind of crappy, I know. I am not a Class A presenter. You know, I was experimenting around with green screen stuff, but I don't have an actual green screen. A video editing program I'm using does support the use of green screens, however. Maybe one day I'll have myself a green screen and better lighting, and maybe I can make some better looking presentations with the backgrounds and stuff like that. But right now they're pretty crappy. So that's a Dictet machine. Running it off this Heathkit IP2718 triple power supply. It's got a fixed 5-volt output and two 0 to 20 adjustable outputs. Got the power supply back in 2004 from a brother in the church. Let's take a quick look at the power supply. It's very nice. Used it for number of things in the past, and very useful. Heathkit power supply, still working on original parts. All original capacitors. And anyway, it's very nice. And the lamp I would use for spare lighting is this old tensor. Like this. I used to have another tensor lamp back in the early 2000s that had, instead of a hinged connector like this, it had a kind of a one thing that was flexible, but blew the transformer out on it by having it on too long with a wrong kind of bulb back in 2001, and it has been out of commission ever since. I opened it up, but I pried open because it had it was riveted shut. And anyway, the original tensor lamp was my dad's at his office, which was special, but at least his tensor lamp is very similar to that one that my dad had years ago. You might be wondering what the heck that was. It's just goofing about, making thawing out noises. Anyway, this video, who knows when I'll ever even edit this thing. This part probably won't even be in the video. If it is, whatever. I might put this in the video, I might not. Probably too much data on this thing, and it probably will not be. Oh gosh, bye.